Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to True Squadron, and in today's video we'll be going over a new short from Star Wars Squadrons called Hunted. Now, I was not expecting this quality of video to come out when they announced this. This looks absolutely amazing to me. So this starts over the Imperial dockyards of Bar Shah, which a planet I'd never heard before, and as you can see, is massive space battle between the Empire and the Rebellion, or the New Republic at this point, because it's after the Battle of Endor. You follow the leader of Titan Squadron, which is the Imperial TIE Fighter Squadron that you'll be going through and playing through in the campaign of the game, and it also looks like you're going to be fighting against the opposing Rebel Squadron, so that's going to be really cool. And as you can see, the Empire is retreating because they are just absolutely getting demolished in this. And there is the Imperial dockyard just in flames. And when the music swelled up in this moment, I was like, wow, look at this. This is absolutely amazing. And look at that Star Destroyer model. It looks straight out of Rogue One. It looks like they might have took that model straight out, because it just absolutely looks like a movie. I know ILM helped with making this, so that's probably why it looks so darn cinematic. Now, as you can see here, the leader of Vanguard Squadron actually goes back to save this TIE bomber from getting destroyed, which is really cool because you can actually see the Empire has some sympathy in some cases, which is something you don't see very often. And then they start flying over, try and make it back to Star Destroyer, but this X-Wing takes out the TIE bomber before it can make it, and that's just kind of made the Rebellion feel like villains, which is a first for me. Throughout this whole video, you can kind of see the controls of the TIE Interceptor and how he boosts his speed and changes his shields and firepower, which is something you're going to be able to do in the actual game, which is really awesome to see in this cinematic. This part right here is very tense, with the TIE Interceptor trying to make it to the Star Destroyer, but just didn't make it. And he's left all alone with the Rebel Alliance right behind his tail. So this is something really cool that you don't really see often, is him actually shutting down his entire ship just to play dead. Now at this point in cinematic, it gets very quiet and eerie with the Imperial pilot just sitting there left all alone, which I actually felt sympathy for him as he looks around and doesn't know if he's going to survive this or not. And he sees the lights of the X-Wing floating through, seeing if there's any survivors, which is pretty cruel, I would say, that the X-Wing is kind of going around hunting any survivors. I wonder if they would take him prisoner or he would actually kill him, because we don't actually see, but I guess later on in the trailer, you kind of see that he was going to just kill the pilot if just sitting there in his ship, just playing defenseless. Now, it's not looking good for our fellow Imperial pilot here, with his TIE Interceptor severely damaged, looked like, on his wing there. And the visuals in this trailer are just absolutely spectacular. Look at all the wreckage and all the little particles. And the X-Wing pilot kind of realizes there's something wrong here. And as you notice on his TIE Fighter helmet, it actually has customized kind of white stripe going down, which is something you're going to be able to do in the game. And here we go. He starts his ship up and they go off to the races, with the Imperial pilot racing away in the wreckage of the battle, kind of floating down into orbit, which is so cool to see, kind of like a flaming TIE Fighter. That's really awesome. But the X-Wing is not done chasing him yet. He keeps going after him, wanting to kill this certain pilot. Now, in this part of the trailer, we actually get to see the inside atmosphere of this planet, and it just looks so realistic to me. It feels like I'm actually watching a movie. The other thing that you can see the TIE Fighter pilot do is kind of jam this missile to fly right back at the X-Wing pilot, which is really amazing. And luckily, the X-Wing pilot does notice it and shoots it down pretty fast. So these guys both are pretty skilled. I wonder if you'll be able to actually fly in atmospheres like this in game, because I think that'd be really cool, using all these clouds as cover. And as you can see later in here, this TIE Fighter is going to make a spin that you're gonna be able to do in the game, stop 180 on the dime and shoot back at the X-Wing. So he's going on the offensive now. This looks so awesome. And he takes out the astromech droid. Poor guy, but he kind of had it coming for him. Now we finally made it to the planet surface, and this is where it gets really interesting, because you see all these flying debris coming down and he's having to evade it, just making this all the more crazier. And he finally goes into the caverns here and gets some cover. At this point in the video, I was surprised how long this dogfight was actually happening. And the TIE Fighter gets hit and he takes off his helmet, showing off his face, which is really cool. And the X-Wing is still on his tail, still wanting some blood. And watch this, you see all the wind coming through the TIE fighter there, which is really, really cool. And he says, "The war is over, imp," which he has a little country accent in there, which is kind of interesting to hear a rebel pilot have a little country accent. And then we go to the water section, and he uses the water to his advantage, blocks his vision, and the X-Wing just gets destroyed, which is a W-4R TIE Interceptor. But unfortunately, it's a little too late and starts to fall down into the ocean, which I wonder if this is actually a part where you can play in the game is around the ocean, which I think that would be very interesting, but I'm not really thinking so. But the visuals, just again, I would keep saying this, but the visuals just look so awesome with the water and this beach effect right here. It just looks absolutely amazing. And we can see our fellow TIE fighter pilot walking, or actually dragging himself up on the beach, exhausted and not knowing what his purpose in life is anymore, because he just was left by his, probably his entire life of working for the Empire. So he's just sitting there in rage. And this is kind of a quiet moment in the trailer where you just get a little introspective of what he's trying to think about, and you can kind of see the destruction of the battle to his side, and he's very angry. And unlike the Battlefront 2 campaign, it looks like he's going to continue fighting and not join the Republic or the New Republic, which is really nice to see. A really loyal Imperial and his fellow buds have finally come back, and he's ready for revenge. So guys, that's going to do it for this video. I'm looking so forward to this game, and I'll definitely be covering it in the future. So please like and subscribe to the video, and I will see y'all next time.